Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to another great episode of On the Throttle with Jacqui Van Ham and my buddy Josh. Talking about all the awesome stuff going on out here in motorcycles and power sports. Welcome back, everybody. If you're a regular watcher of the show, welcome back. Welcome back. If you're brand new, hey, how's it going out there? As always, feel free to peek into the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Feel free to fight with Josh. I mean, whatever you got to do out there, go ahead and do it. We go back through and we always read all of these comments, whether you are watching out there on the YouTubes or the Facebooks. For today's program, we are going to chat in my neck of the woods about how Polaris is helping extract that wallet out of your pocket a little bit more efficiently. We're also going to talk about two words I really never thought I'd hear in power sports, and that is grunt and runt. Josh, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods?
That sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting. But so in my end of things, it's not often that a bike gets released and before it's even seen out in the wild, there's a ton of aftermarket parts for it. And we've got one story of that because this one's so hotly anticipated. And another one is there's a chance that in another state, you may not feel like you have a target on your back when you're sitting there. And we'll talk about that too.
Very interesting. We're all going to have to wait for that story and all of our stories after this word from our sponsors.
From the trails to the track, D.I.D chains are manufactured with the highest quality materials and designed to give you an optimal riding experience and are the top chain choice worldwide. When performance, quality, and consistency matter, go with D.I.D. What drives you?
Welcome back, everybody. So as discussed at the very beginning, at the top of today's program, my first story for today is talking about how the folks over at Polaris, also known as the parent company for Indian Motorcycle, as well as a bunch of other rad outdoor products, they are going to go ahead and they're going to make it a little bit easier to pull that cash right on out of your wallet. And that is because they just launched a very cool website that is all about bringing all of the toys directly to you every single day out here on the internet. And that is because they launched this very cool site called the Polaris Xchange. It is your marketplace to adventure. This was just released this past week or so. This is featured over on motorcyclepowersportsnews.com, our sister website. If you are not following over there, you should go check it out because we have awesome stories going on over there every single day of the week, if I do say so myself. Anywho, so this is going to be coming from the folks over at Polaris. Polaris launches Polaris Xchange Powersports Marketplace. Polaris is putting customers in the driver's seat, pun intended, as they shop for their first or next powersports vehicles with the introduction of Polaris Xchange. Built from the ground up with the needs of the powersports customer in mind, this one-stop online marketplace provides customers the ability to shop, research, and start the buying process on thousands of off-road vehicles, snowmobiles, motorcycles, side-by-sides, autocycles, and ATVs from participating Polaris dealers nationwide. The quote from the folks at Polaris: "We are constantly infusing new ways of thinking and using our knowledge of the powersports customer to help advance our industry, introduce new people to powersports, and enhance the experience for our owners and riders. And Polaris Xchange is another example of that industry leadership," said the folks over at Polaris. Consumer shopping habits have evolved in recent years, with more customers leveraging online resources for discovery, research, and learning as they start the buying process prior to even visiting a physical retail location, and powersports customers are no different. So this is why I thought this was really interesting, Josh, is the fact that I went ahead and checked this out. The Polaris Xchange, very slick, great looking site. Obvious, you can see, very easy use, MSRP, it's all clear, it's all up front, all good stuff. You dig a little bit deeper into this site, and it does let you know, however, this is strictly dealership facing sales. This is not a consumer buying from another consumer a la Facebook Marketplace. This is really a way for their dealerships to leverage online traffic and drive more eyeballs to their inventory. The reason why I think this is so interesting is because while some dealerships are really good at playing the game and putting their stuff out online and letting people know what's going on, some dealerships are not. And this kind of creates a little bit more level playing field. But this story had had me thinking a little bit about another website that was just launched a handful of months ago. And this is from the folks over at Harley-Davidson. They just launched their HD1 marketplace. Notice a little bit of similarity going on over here. When you dig into this website a little bit more, this is interesting because it has a lot of the same functions and features as far as the Polaris site, meaning it's a lot of dealer-facing inventory. However, they do allow actual customers and users and consumers to post their motorcycles up as well. However, I did a quick search on this looking for my own region, and there was a whopping one customer selling their bike to consumers on this website. However, it had 4 pages deep of dealerships who were looking to offload inventory. Both sites also help funnel you directly to these dealerships, so that way you can partake and talk to them about financing, as well as adding aftermarket part and accessory and all that jazz. The last little tidbit I wanted to leave with you that I did notice over on the Polaris site is that it is not just Polaris products. And I thought that that was a really interesting twist to this, because it takes it from just being Polaris dealers pitching Polaris dealer stuff to, like, if they also have Suzuki inventory, that's on there. So it really broadens and widens how many fish they're going to catch with this net when people are out on the internet typing in the bike that they are looking for. At the end of the day, we all have to remember out here, Josh, that the majority of sales right now in Powersports is to folks who are 50 years and older. And the way that they shop is doing Google search, finding the thing, calling on the phone to talk about the thing. It is not really so much, looking for new bikes on Instagram and things like that. And so I thought that this is meeting the customer where they live. Very smart, whether you're going to take advantage of the Polaris version or check out that Harley-Davidson one. I think this is really, really smart and a very, very interesting play and a very, very interesting way to look at selling bikes going forward. Josh, what do you think about this story?
I mean, it's content, and content. So the more spots that you have the bikes, the easier it is for people to click on them. The more time people are going to spend there, the better it ranks. The more times you're going to get people there. It becomes this vicious cycle of them feeding themselves. Well worth the investment. I think it was long overdue for someone to do something like this besides Harley, because Harley's got such a tight ecosystem, whereas Polaris realizes that they do not have the brand loyalty that Harley necessarily does in a lot of spaces. So if they can pull someone else over, if they can help their dealers out, they're going to do that. I think it's a great move for either one of them.
Yeah, and you touched on the last point that I wanted to make about this story. Actually, 2 points. One, Polaris obviously has a much wider offering of products that they sell. And again, like I keep mentioning, it's not just Polaris products. It is all brands. So I thought that that was really fascinating. But the second thing is when these sites started popping up, and I even got a note from one of our show producers saying, is this kind of a kick in the shins to dealerships? And the more you look at this, the more you realize absolutely not. This is a 100% tool for the dealerships. This is a win-win for the dealerships to utilize these systems. So I thought that was really smart as well. So that's what's going on for my very first story. Josh, what you got going on?
So Suzuki surprised a lot of people when they released the V-Strom 800DE, the new mid-size adventure bike that they have. And all of us, I mean, out in ADV land here, have been dying to see one out on the road. We haven't seen one out on the road, but someone has come out with these packages in order to change it. Because let's face it, it's a motorcycle. We're going to change it however we want to make it our motorcycle. And that's a big part of it. Now, granted, you and I do that differently. You're going to make it look like your bike. Frankly, I don't care what it looks like. I'm going to change the springs. I'm going to change the jetting. I'm going to change the other stuff. But that
I'm going to put lowering links on it. I'm going to cut down the seat.
Correct. I am going to do none of that. So Hessler Rallye Team isn't doing that either, but they give you this little teaser to show kind of what's starting to happen with this. So it gets better than the teaser here. I'm not going to leave you hanging this badly. They have 3 levels of packages that you can buy from them. There is the Desert Express Adventure. There is the Desert Express Rally Adventure. Then there is the Desert Express Rally Pro. I'm not giving them a whole lot of credit for their naming on this. So that first one, it includes different handguards, skid plate, decals, a tail tidy, windscreen, silencer. I mean, this is all the stuff that after you've ridden it about 300 miles, as soon as it's out of warranty, you're like, okay, all this stuff is coming off and going on the shelf. This is the stuff that I'm putting on. That first package is $1,883, which to me is a pretty reasonable price for all those items. If you step up to the second package, the Desert Express Rally Adventure, suddenly you have a new seat like we see here. There's narrow rear panels, like I believe those are shown on there also, which to me, okay. But when you realize that this is stepping up, I mean, like $1,800, you think, boy, for a new seat and rear panels. The other thing that it adds is it adds a Wilbur's rear shock with adjustable rebound, high speed and low speed compression, as well as having a hydraulic preload on it. So to me, as soon as you put that in there, obviously you're going to change the handling characteristics of the bike by a ton with that. And it's got the adjustability now. Now we can make it kind of a proper adventure type bike. The third package, what is that going to include? Well, that is going to include the Excel 21-inch and 18-inch wheels that you see here. Those are set up for tubeless rims. There is the HRT engine protector, and the other big piece with this for the $1,400, which to me is a bargain. You're getting different front forks that have an additional 20 millimeters of travel. To me, this is, I mean, a huge transformation for this bike. Now, some of the other things that they are offering for this is a lightweight lithium-ion battery. They are also offering a different top triple clamp that will accept more enduro-style bars than what the V-Strom DE is going to come out from the factory with. All of this is before, at least as far as I know, this bike has even seen a dealership floor. So one of the cool things about this, though, is when you start to think about this, is when you look at some of this stuff, you're like, that's $5,000 that you're going to spend to get all of those items included in that third package. So you take that with the MSRP of $11,349. I come up, carry the one. It's $16,406. Just out of laughs and giggles, I went to KTM to look at the MSRP for the Adventure R890. That's $15,199. So the Adventure R is a little bit less expensive in this, but I think that the Suzuki has some advantages over the Adventure R, and why this package is still a bargain, even at basically, let's call it $16,500, because now you've already got the exhaust, you've got the seat, you've got the windscreen, you've got some of the other stuff that you're probably going to end up doing to the KTM Adventure R anyways, and you've got Suzuki's well-known reliability, you've got all that other stuff to back it up. To me, I think that this package is awesome. And I think we're going to start seeing more stuff like this. When I start looking at some of the other companies and what they've done with the T7 and other bikes like this, they are allowing you to customize it in a package to make sure it's all going to work together. And really, that's what we want. To me, I think this looks just killer. What are your thoughts there, Jacqui? I mean, that looks proper. Yeah. I mean, the teaser's good. The bike as it sat, it looks proper adventure bike. Go throw it at some trees.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful bike. I do love this upgraded kit on it. It's so sharp, and I love that they're already dressing up this unicorn out here. This thing that doesn't even exist. They're already putting a prom dress on it and dolling it all the way up. I think it's really exciting. It's a very neat, cool thing. I do like that T7 already, like you'd already touched on. I think there's just some really interesting bikes in this space right now. You know, if you've got 16 grand laying around, you can sure get you a heck of a bike that'll go out there and crush some cross-country adventures for sure. So very exciting. Did you say you had a launch date or a dealership destination date for this yet?
No. So, I mean, the Desert Express, the V-Strom 800 DE is supposed to be showing up pretty much any day now. But I mean, I've been watching, I know a couple of people that have them on order, and I haven't heard anything from them. I've been creeping on their feeds, and I have not seen any garage pictures yet. So I'm assuming that this still has the horn on it yet, and the horn will come off, and it'll show up in someone's stable soon.
Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of things that we never, hopefully are going to see, or maybe won't see, or won't expect, unexpected surprises out here at Powersports. As I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, two words that I really never anticipated saying on a show, and certainly not the name of a product, but it is a very cool product. All jokes aside, is the fact that the folks, Texas-based e-bike company Volcon, has released a couple of new bikes and some upgrades, and this is the new Grunt EVO and the Runt LT off-road motorcycles. Those are new. They were just released from the folks over again at Texas-based Volcon. Volcon Incorporated announced it has launched the new Grunt EVO and the Runt LT. The EVO is the latest edition of the company's original all-electric off-road motorcycle using Volcon's Exo Arch frame and fat tire design, now affectionately called the Grunt Founders Edition internally. The EVO streamlines design, comfort, and style while offering improvements based on Grunt consumer feedback. Gosh, those names just crack me up. Anyway, I love these machines. The bike on the left is going to be the Grunt. The little guy next to it obviously is going to be the Runt. This fat tire, chubby tire design, I am here for it. These are such cool bikes. I love these machines. I think they look like such a good time. Super fun. I think these are just really neat. Again, these just got released. Comfort is another key theme in the EVO design. A more ergonomic scalloped seat profile and material changes increase comfort and impact absorption. Upgrades in foot peg position and mounting create a better rider angle, improving ergonomics and providing a more plush feel during off-road adventures. This latest edition will have the same torqued 16-volt power system and the undeniably valuable IP67 rating, making it waterproof, of course, sand and snowproof. Another key EVO development is the overall weight reduction of nearly 20%. Josh, that is absolutely staggering. Huge. For an EV machine. Every ounce counts. And then as we talk about the Runt LT, which is the little guy on the previous slide, the long-anticipated Runt LT, the downsized, abridged version of the Grunt, will be making its debut to Powersports dealerships near you this spring. The Volcon Runt LT boasts many of the same benefits of the EVO, while also having some unique callouts of its own. The Runt's low, 27-inch seat height makes it a great option for Josh and myself, as well as being a fantastic pit bike. Unlike its predecessor, the Grunt, the Runt LT features an in-wheel hub motor, giving riders higher torque and increased control of vehicle dynamics. The Runt LT reaches speeds of up to 35 miles per hour and has 25 miles of range on a single battery charge. Inverted forks, pivotless adjustable rear shock, and hydraulic disc brakes give it one of the smoothest rides of any off-road motorcycle in its class. Luminous LED headlights keep the rider's path brightly and safely lit while cruising off-road terrain. The Runt will come in Del Rio Red and Desert Dune colorways and only weighs 147 pounds. Very cool machines. Customers can start creating builds of both motorcycles on Volcon.com. Starting just a handful of weeks ago, you can already cruise on over there and build your perfect bike, and these will be in the Powersports dealers anticipated later this spring. Josh, what do you think about these two very cool machines from, again, a US-based, Texas-based company, Volcon?
I love them both, and it's funny, we talked like kind of TW beforehand, but really the old Yamaha BW200 and the Honda Fat Cat, and there was a Yamaha BW200 on Facebook Marketplace recently that I tried to get and I couldn't, because who doesn't want a fat tire bike to ride around the yard? These, to me, I mean, they've got a great spot to fit into, because they're so utilitarian. Anyone can get on one of these things and ride them well and ride them and have fun. They're the Runt it's your mini bike replacement. You're no longer worried about gas, oil, all the other stuff. You throw it in the back of your vehicle and you take it to your campground. You take it to wherever you're going and you're never going to have any problems with it. Just make sure it's charged up and that's it. To me, these are both, I mean, I think Volcon is this great company that said, screw it. We know what we want to build. and we're going to build for these people. And they've done a phenomenal job of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Volcon makes the price of that TW or the BW and that Honda Fat Cat come up a little bit. Because this, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I got to go look at those.
Yeah, this has always just been such a dead ringer for me for TW200 vibes. I just cannot even look at these and not think about that. I think that, that huge chubby tire, perfect for the sand, perfect pit bike. I think these are very cool machines. And you're right. I love that it's kind of an odd duck out here. It's definitely dancing to the beat of its own drum, and either you're into it or you're out. But I think it's definitely potentially going to have cult following, just like Fat Cat TW200 and some of those other little like chubby, super chubby tired bikes from way back in the Wayback Machine, right, Josh? All right, so what do you got going on for your second story today?
So for me, there is a lane splitting / filtering law that has gained progress in Oregon. And I usually like to refer to these because these give me hope for things to come. Now, this is a Senate approved lane splitting / filtering bill. It allows for up to 10 miles an hour over the speed of traffic as long as traffic is 10 miles an hour or less. So you can split that one lane. So to me if traffic's going 10, you can go 20 in between the cars. To me, it is a great thing because there's so many times where you see traffic slow down and you just sit there and watch in your mirror as you see the soccer mom coming up behind you doing this on her phone. And you just think, oh, this is how I die. It's not 120 losing the front end in a corner. It's the soccer mom rear-ending me at an intersection at 0 miles an hour. So that is the thing that I love about this. Now, there are some stipulations in it, and I think this is what they've changed from the previous version that didn't pass, is there are some school zone stipulations, some other stipulations like that, but for the most part, this seems like a pretty common sense bill. Now, this went to the governor in 2021 in Oregon. This is a different governor now, so there's different possibilities. That governor said, no way. So to give you some stats on this, filtering is legal in 3 states is all. It is not prohibited, but it's also not said that it's okay in 8 states. It is 100% illegal in 29 states. So unfortunately, we are the ones that just have to sit there and just hope we don't die. That all being said, this map right here, we've got to show you kind of where it's there, where it's not considered. I'm in Ohio, where it's not really mentioned, but I'm pretty sure if local law enforcement saw it, they may be like, we saw you doing stupid human tricks before. This is the thing that we're going to get you on. So to me, this gives me hope that, yes, we will be able to get this. The next big thing is then educating people on it, because we've all seen where lane filtering becomes legal and suddenly car drivers are not exactly happy when we go cruising past. And so making sure we can educate people on that is the next big thing. But to me, this gives me hope that, yes, if Oregon has a chance of doing this, there is some chance of this gaining some popularity in some other states too. I'm looking forward to it. Have you ever filtered, Jacqui, or have you maybe stayed away? I'm saying filtering, not bonus lane either.
To any law enforcement who might be watching the program, I absolutely have not done that. I have not partaken of any of this. To everybody else watching, heck yes, I have. I ride old bikes that love to overheat at the drop of a hat, not gonna lie. So I definitely filter. I definitely do it. I think it is way safer. If John Q. Law needs to talk to me about it, then we can have that conversation by the side of the road, I suppose, and I might get a performance award. But it just makes all of the sense. I hear every single week so many stories of people getting rear-ended because they are distracted. There has been studies showing that drivers literally have a tendency to look through motorcyclists and focus on the vehicle in front of them. And there's been so much research of them saying I literally never even saw the bike as they're driving over the bike. It is incredibly dangerous to be stuck in this kind of traffic pattern. I know for myself personally, if I get stuck in this kind of situation, I will absolutely slowly filter and creep my way to the front to get out of the way. I'm just saying, You don't have to do that for you. Follow the laws. Of course, our program is going to encourage all of you to follow the laws, or I will purposely ride over to the far sides to not be stuck in that middle area.
Yep.
This also makes me really want to point out the fact that these autonomous driving vehicles now that are also not seeing motorcycles, this makes me really want to go ahead and encourage more states to consider this as an okay way to get through traffic for motorcyclists. It is a very different conversation to be had than lane splitting, by the way. Lane splitting is very different from filtering. I totally support filtering in all 50 states. Splitting is a little bit of a different conversation. But at the end of the day, you already nailed it, Josh. Education, education, education. If this does pass in your state, people need to know about it. Everybody. That way you don't have road rage incidents happening.
I was about to say, people need to know about it before middle fingers get involved.
Yes, before middle fingers at the least get involved. So anyway, that's what's going on today's show. That's what's going out here in the news of motorcycling and power sports. Another action-packed program. As always, we bring you all of the hot topics out here in motorcycling. Thank you so much for tuning in. To all of our regular watchers and any of our new watchers, thanks for peeking in and saying hey. To any of our folks at the dealerships that are tuning in, as always, thank you. We try to keep our finger on the pulse of breaking news for our dealership friends as well. All of our stories, for the most part, and more, actually can be found at motorcyclepowersportsnews.com. So make sure you go head on over there and check out our website as well. See you guys next week.